You're watching our continuing coverage of the Armour All Bathurst 12-hour. Greg Ruston, Garth Tander with you. Those clouds at the top of the mountain are looming. They look darker, and we are told that rain is approaching. Little bit of sprinkles there on our camera lens just coming down through the dipper as we watch the Craig Lowndes entry. Let's go to Grant.
Unfortunately, bad news. The 44 car of Melrose, Peter Lemus and Tony Alford sitting down here in the pits. What's wrong with the Tone?
Look, we got a transmission error code. Ran it for 2 laps. It seems to be going into neutral. We've downloaded, and the technical term is it's got a P2713 error. The non-technical term is it's stuffed. Yeah, so we'll just put it away today. It's an actuator in the gearbox has failed for some reason, and yeah, that's the end of the day.
First race anywhere in the world for a standard GTR on slicks, raced as a long distance event. Haven't these guys done a terrific job? We'll talk more about them in a minute. Let's go back to Grant. More action in the pits.
Yes, the 3 cars down here in the pits. Dean Herridge, what is the problem?
Well, we're still getting to the bottom of it at the moment, but it looks like a fuel-related issue, either a hose problem or a pump. We're trying to rectify that at the moment. Bit of a shame. John did a great job starting for us. Just circulating really well. We thought we could set ourselves up for a big day, but hope we can get it fixed in the next 10 or 15, get it back on track, hopefully punch around and get some good lap times and learn a fair bit.
If you could get it out in the next couple of laps, what would be the team strategy from there?
Look, I think just to circulate, get some laps, learn a lot. This is our first time here from our team point of view. Try and get some good times sort of laid down for the future, I hope.
Thanks, Dean.
Good on you guys, thanks.
Beautifully built car by Maximum Motorsport. The attention on the dry brake refuelling system. Spy cam takes us a little bit closer. The dry brake system, Garth, was one of the last things to be installed on this particular car, and Dean's arrived here fresh from a 4th place finish at Targa Rest Point. I guess they can, at least if they need to, take some of the spares off the Targa car. We head back. Here's young Christopher Mees at the wheel of car 8. 21 years of age, this guy. Rookie of the Year in the FIA GT3 Championship. A drama here for Nathan Tinkler, and you can see the wipers are on as the Armour All replay shows us just how wet and greasy it is at STP corner.
You see that, just understeered straight off the track, and you can see how wet it is there at STP, whereas going up Mountain Straight here, it's actually quite dry. So one of the real tricks about Bathurst is the changeable weather conditions. As now the Audi guys react to the rain. Spy cam showing you that Dean Herridge ready to head back out onto circuit. His dad will have been down there, former Australian rally champion Rob Herridge, and made sure that the crews were able to get that sorted. Let's go to Grant with Stephen Johnson.
Well, Steve, you've just seen the car going in at a rate of knots, but the news is not all bad that we're hearing.
No, it's all fine. The car's fine. Nathan just said he hit a bit of oil and locked the brakes up and couldn't stop it. So it's pretty slippery out there at the minute, and the brakes in this thing are a bit touchy at the best of times. So I won't say how he explained it when he went in there, but he said it's all fine, and we'll just keep it going now.
They've got a great friendship, those two, don't they, Nathan Tinkler and Stephen Johnson?
Certainly do, known each other for a long time, and they've done plenty of races here in this 12-hour together as well in that GTP Falcon.
So the wall racing entries, the second one having to wait that little bit longer. We were still at least under safety car conditions when those pit stops were taking place. So race about to restart. Looks like the Honduras entry, the car that James and Theo are sharing with Steve Owen, will restart. They are some laps down after that fan belt issue. We jump aboard with Barton Moore, another Australian driver who's done the hard yards overseas trying to crack it, competed in Formula 3, for example, has raced in Carrera Cup here in Australia, but in more recent time has been doing endurance events just like this.
Just like this, been up to Sepang and a few other races around the world where just trying to get plenty of miles in these sports cars and get a bit of a name for yourself as an endurance specialist, because there are plenty of races and then plenty of opportunities to get it right around the world, and it's not too bad a gig if you can land yourself in a Porsche team driving a GT3R like the VIP car on screen.
Back on board now in Class D. Car Christian de Gosten is campaigning along with Matt Hansen and Peter O'Donnell. The GWS personnel entry, the BMW 335i. Car that's had some good success at this race in the past.
Yeah, won the 12-hour event a couple of times in the past, so obviously now not in outright contention with the GT3 cars here, but certainly a contender for the class win.
Across the top of the mountain, what they're calling Armour All Park this year.
Very, very tricky conditions, because look at the top of the mountain here, it's bone dry. There's no issue with rain or wet track or anything, whereas down at the beginning of Pitt Straight there, very, very wet, where we saw Tinkler go off. So these conditions, very, very tricky to see the Luff, Lowndes, Eddie Audi straight past across Skyline, and very, very tricky to get your run right with this lap traffic. You see, we know the Audi's a very fast car, but you can't pass through the dipper, so it's all about patience and making sure you pick the right chance to get the right passing move.
Warren's doing a great job here, just weaving nicely through the traffic, keeping it tidy. As Craig Lowndes said in our onboard lap at the beginning of the coverage, just keeping it off the curbs. That's another key aspect. This is a 12-hour race. You can't afford to be hammering the equipment in that fashion. Closing here on the VIP entry. They've done very little, the German contingent that have come with these cars to the mountain. We know that Mark Eddy has campaigned one of these beautiful R8s in the Australian GT Championship in the last 12 months. But other than a small wing adjustment and a damper change after Friday practice, they've done very little to these cars. Great base setting arriving here as we look at the replay.
Very, very good car as a base settings. You see on board with Luffy here, up the inside at the chase, and the track's still relatively dry here, so easy to get the inside. It's hard to get your head around not seeing his arms actually shifting gears, just flicking it with his fingers, but nice clean passing manoeuvre.
Dean Herridge there, heading back up Mountain Straight, just over a kilometre up the mountain. And he knows the mountain well, Dean Herridge, having been here before with Chris Atkinson and former Subaru Australia teammate Cody Crocker. The Rally boys were here a few years back in a factory entry. Just behind them, the 67 car, the Motorsport Services entry of Alan Dippy, Stephen Thompson and Mark Madron. On board the Subaru now. Dean only turned 10 laps in qualifying, Garth. He wanted his co-drivers to get as much in the way of miles around the mountain as he could.
Well, it's important that as a unit, your average lap speed is as fast as it can be. There's no point having one guy that's a gun, can go flat out, and then the other two guys lacking experience or lacking time in the car. So it's obviously Dean, we know, has plenty of experience in these WRXs, so making sure that everyone's up to speed before the race starts.
I should say 10 laps in total coming into qualifying. We look here at the Mark Brame, Peter Conroy entry. These guys had a tough year at the mountain in 2010. They've gone away, done a lot of work finessing this car, and they've come back much, much happier with it. As we jump back aboard with the BMW, chasing it down. That rain appears to have skirted us just. It seems to be worse back in the city proper, Bathurst City, just down the road.
Now this 12 months ago would have been a battle for the outright contenders, the Evo and the BMW running outright in the previous incarnation, the 12-hour event, but certainly battling just as hard for the class win. So time for an hourly update for you. We'll focus on the classes here. C-Class, Beric Linton's BMW, heading up pedigree Class C. Class D, brought to you by Fuchs, is the Conroy, Robson, Brame entry that we saw before, and Racer Industries, the boys in that Astra doing another tremendous job. Here's the outright leaderboard. The Audis continuing to battle amongst each other, but the Internationals back in front. The Quins and Craig Baird third. We'll take a break and come back with more from the mountain.
Roger Largo and Matt Kingsley were regular combatants in the Porsche GT3 Challenge last year. This weekend, they're joining forces, and along with ex-Cup car racer turned V8 supercar driver Dave Russell, the trio form a formidable combination.
Been very nice to hop back behind the wheel of a Porsche, and especially to come here to Bathurst. It's a very, very, very special place, and always never turn down an opportunity to race at Bathurst, and it's fantastic to do it in a GT3 Cup car.
Really special to be part of this team. We've got a good crew around us, and really look forward to going round circles for 12 hours. So that's going to be a big bonus. Bathurst is a special track, and last year we didn't get much running time, but now we can have as much as we like.
Class B features both the 996 model and its successor, the 997. Matt has driven both and believes that each have their strengths and weaknesses.
The 997 has got a few more years of development under it. It's a lot more stable than the 996. But saying that, the 996 is very good in the wet because the chassis is a bit softer and the tyres go up to temperature a lot quicker. Really enjoyed driving around the car. It's one of my dreams, and lucky I'm here doing it.
Matt wants to erase the memory of his result here last year, while David hopes his good form here continues.
last time I was in a Carrera Cup car at Bathurst, I got pole position, so and we're in the 2:10 marks, which was great to do that sort of pace. But look, it's not about just the one lap flies this weekend and putting a sprint race together. It's about getting your target time sorted out and being able to just do nice, calm and consistent lap times.
That's exactly what the trio have been doing. Just watching the Shane Smollen entry there. Look at how greasy it is offline. This is coming into STP corner.
Very, very easy, and actually very lucky not to get all four wheels in the dip, but very easy to just slip offline as we see the Bazzing Audi just slip offline as well. So obviously more rain falling now, as we can see. Certainly more rain on track, and the Team Yost boys have the Michelin wets ready just in case.